Yeah, alright, so there's my final one. I'll just duplicate it. Do a series measure. Oh yeah, I don't need to do that on the highest subdivision level. So be really quick. So series measure. Alright, then I'll do what I did yesterday. I'll just make very quick UVs for this. I do encourage you to spend more time on your UVs. Make logical UVs. But, alright, automatic mapping. I'll export this again. Just replace that file. Then import it back into ZBrush. I'll just use the multi-append C plugin subtool master multi-append. Head low. Then
how did you do it together?
I can delete this one. And I'll reproject the details down. I'll add a sufficient subdivision.
Open it in Photoshop. Yeah.
So around 3 million. Project all. So yeah, this was what we were doing yesterday. It's a bit confusing, like, yeah, we're doing all these steps just so we can get a normal map baked in ZBrush. If you do bake it in Substance Painter or in Maya or anywhere else, all you need is you need the low poly mesh with UVs, and you need the high poly mesh. And the high poly mesh, nothing matters, only the detail. It doesn't need to have UVs, the topology doesn't matter, it's just the mesh. And then you will be able to bake. Of course, as long as the two meshes match in world space. But here in ZBrush, we're actually baking a bit differently, because we're not really baking in world space. It's just taking the details from the highest subdivision level and it's baking it down to the UVs of literally the same tool, same object. So it's a bit different. But it's a very useful thing to be able to do, to reproject down in ZBrush. Alright, so there I have it. All the details applied to this mesh, which now has UVs and new topology. Then I'll go to the highest subdivision level, I can use the multi-map exporter under C plugins. Do a normal map. I'll do a 4K, flip vertically on export, and tangent space. I don't need to smooth the low UVs, but I want to smooth the normals. And this is fine. So create all maps. ZBrush is very quick at baking though. Super quick. Alright, so let's have a look at that. That looks good. I'll try to apply it in Maya. Just make a new material. I'll just do an old school blend. Bump mapping. File. Then I like to turn off the filter on the file node. Let's see. So that's a tip, I guess. The Sketchfab, it wants PNG, right?
Yeah.
Or Targa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or JPEGs.
Or JPEG. All right. Okay. Just not TIFF.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not what we have. Everything else, then it's, yeah, industry standard, I guess.
Yeah. So, all right. So we set this to raw. Bump node to tangent space normals, and we set the mesh normals here to soften edge, so that we don't get that low poly look. There we go. So normal without normal with normal map. And that's all we need to export now. We have the low poly mesh with UVs. Horrible UVs, but we have UVs. They're technically okay because they're not overlapping. And we have minimal texture distortion actually, because we did just a quick automatic mapping. So there's very minimal texture distortion. The only thing is that they look very bad. And we have a lot of seams everywhere. But as you see, I mean, today seams are less of a problem. It's just that, you know, they can cause artifacts. You never know. And just to be safe, we want to have. I would not want to see this kind of in a production mesh. This would make very little sense. So you would at least take the time to make sure to have like a UV shell that would cover the face. Probably. Alright, but technically there's nothing wrong with this in a technical sense. We will be, as you saw, we were able to bake because the UVs are not overlapping. So, and there's no distortion, practically speaking. Okay, so this was that the one I created? I guess so. No, head low. This is the one. So let me rename this. So this would be head normal map. But then, so I do need to convert it, right, for Sketchfab. So I'll open that in. Okay, so it's already in here, but let me save that as a. I'll do a PNG then. It's fine. Head normal map. If for whatever reason you were not able to flip the channels you wanted, you know, you can always go in here, select the green channel, for instance, and do Control I. That's inverting that channel. And then go back to RGB. When you now save the file, you have flipped the green channel. But I'll flip it back. All right. So there we have head normal map PNG. I have the head low OBJ, and that's our final product. That's all the work kind of now distilled into those two files. So very valuable little files now. All right, and then this would also be something that you could take into Substance Painter. For Substance Painter, if some of you want to try to experiment with that, I would rather also just do the normal map bake in Substance, and then you would just export the high-res version from ZBrush also. So you have the high-res, high poly OBJ and the low poly OBJ, and that's all you need to generate everything in terms of the textures and the normal map. Alright, so Sketchfab. There's the sci-fi container. So I go upload. So it found an issue because there's no material associated with the file, but that's okay. I can just have the material in Sketchfab. So yeah, if you wanted to make the model private, that's where you would have to pay a little bit for a Sketchfab subscription. Otherwise, it will be accessible to the world. So if some of you have some really big issues with that, I guess you could argue for that and then provide me with the model in some other fashion, but you know, it's not. If you don't want it to be discovered, don't write anything, and chances are it will not. But it's just Sketchfab is such a nice way just to publish models. I of course encourage you to go and explore here. There's so many fascinating artworks. And the cool thing is that you can very quickly and easily kind of analyze it, and we should now be able to. So here we can press number 5, we'll see the, okay, so this is not highly optimized for, it's very dense mesh, but okay, that's fine, you know, that they didn't do that, it's just an upload of the artwork. So it's not an in-game, it's not optimized for in-game. Alright, so it's basically just color assigned to a very dense mesh, but that's fine. It's very nice artwork. And we know with this as a base, if we wanted to optimize it with what you now currently have, this is extremely valuable. You know, then you could take this and convert it to any kind of poly count, any kind of poly budget, and all that jazz. And I guess this doesn't even have a normal map then, it's just what you're seeing. It does have ambient occlusion, okay. But yeah, the detail is in the mesh because it's very dense. What they probably did here, I would guess, like they did a decimation master. In ZBrush you could do that, and it would kind of optimize the mesh. So let's say you have like a millions of polys, you do a decimation, it will give you the lowest possible resolution but still retaining the detail, kind of. Yeah, alright, let's try to find some optimized ones. Maybe this. Hello. Yeah, so this is an optimized in-game. So we have nice topology. So this is kind of what we want to see, right? Press number 5 is a, oh yeah, that looks familiar. We feel good. The polys are happy. So it's such a nice, quick way to just, here we can see the metalness, roughness, normal map, base color, and the final render. Very cool. So maybe this will also give you some ideas for your A2, depending on how far you want to take that. Like I said yesterday, it really doesn't need to be very complex. But of course, if you wanted to be creative and just go a bit overboard with that assignment, feel free. So here we have some animations. This is an FBX file exported with some animation keyframes. And again, let's look at the wires. So this is very nice, very optimized. See the texture here is a little bit transparent here. You could do that just with a simple transparency map. So you can call it transparency map or opacity map. So here's the opacity map. So you see, this is just like a plane painted with an opacity map, but it's very straightforward. You plug it into the opacity of the material, and same for these flowers. See, they're just cards placed around, but very nicely done. So you see that technically it could be simple, doesn't need to be hugely complex, but it all kind of comes together very nicely. And here there's no normal map, it's just a base color. So I do encourage you to go in and also try to kind of analyze these models, see, not just look at the final work, but how it was made. This might be a scan or photogrammetry, probably. We could look at the, so this is actually optimized, so that's nice. You see it has a base color and a normal map. So someone probably did a photogrammetry scan, and then you get the very dense mesh, but they took the job to go in and optimize the topology and make the normal map, and all of this that you could potentially also now do. It's the same processes that we've been doing, just that your heavy mesh would be this shoe. Feel free to also do something like this, whatever interesting. You can hold Alt and middle mouse button. I can rotate the light. Alright, so let me upload. I already did that, didn't I? Did I do that? No, I didn't do that.
I think you're in the process of it in the other window.
Everything's happening at once. You're right. I already did it. Yeah. My brain melted. Alright. Cool. Continue. Oh, actually, did you encounter this error where you actually see the low poly? You did?
I think it just uploaded the wrong one.
Yeah, because what you can do is like when you export the OBJ, first I would delete history, and then do a mesh display soft and edge operation, and leave this in the history state when you save the OBJ. that should actually carry that normal information with the OBJ. It's part of the OBJ format. That one. So you see smoothing, it carries with it some smoothing information. And now that should resolve that. Just try to upload it again. Right. Is that already uploaded?
Press more.
More.
Yeah, down to your right.
Oh, re-upload. It's convenient. So this was changed right now. Okay, so there we go. There might be issues, and the issues should be, yeah, no material. Alright, cool. Replace. Let's see if that resolved that. So you didn't really get that when you uploaded? It didn't seem to... Oh, okay. Maybe you had it in the history state then without knowing it when you exported the OBJ?
That might be.
Probably, because you all viewed it in Maya, right? And you pressed Mesh Display, Soften Edge, and then exported the OBJ. Yeah, okay. Probably. Good. Yeah, so that's actually good that that happened, so we could comment on that. So the smoothing information does carry with the OBJ. You can also use that if you wanted to go and manually select edges which should be softened and some edges that should not be softened. That's also an option. If you have some edges in the model that should appear straight, you can actually go in and manually select harden or soften edge on the normals, and they will be, that information should be stored with the OBJ format. This is taking a while. I guess I'll just I'll reload everything. All right, give that a minute. So that did resolve the normal soften edge issue. Alright, so it's currently just viewed without the normal map, so then let's go in 3D settings. So here we have a PBR material, and that's what we want, just a physically based rendering. It's a nice little material. Go into here, add normal map on manage textures, and there's the one we imported. So in this case, I disable the flip green. Cool. And then, you know, this is kind of it for, you don't, like I said, textures and so forth are optional. So just make a nice little clay render with the normal map applied, like we currently have. We can go in here. I like turning on the ground shadows, but I just do a baked ambient occlusion just so we have a little bit of contact. It seems a little more grounded. Yeah, this is all up to you. Just add a little bit of that. And for the report and everything, I selected the background, just a white background, just to make things easy. But for the lighting, I'm going to change this probably just to a very hard contrast HDRI, kind of the studio setting, just to really bring out the... This is not really a beautiful presentation render necessarily, it's just to show the detail, show the work that you did. So you do want to make sure that we actually see it. So I just have some high contrast, I selected this one. Let's see, where's the background? This is actually pretty important also, the field of view. You know, if it's a you want a very wide angle, or so typically around 50, you know, that would be a normal kind of human vision, and what we're used to in Maya and ZBrush, usually around 40, 50. So I'll set this to 50. And here we could do, yeah, I'll just do a white background. Actually not so pretty here, but let me kind of... I guess for the report, ideally with this clay render, we probably wouldn't want a white background. Thinking on the fly. I mean, for many instances, if we had some textures there, it wouldn't be a problem. But here, it's kind of bleeding everything away. Do you guys have any input as far as the background color?
This shows the studio environment, and so it's like a nice...
Yeah, that'll give you kind of a gradient thing. I just want something simple when I do a screen grabs for the report. I mean, it doesn't really, it's not crucial, but maybe I'll do like a neutral medium gray. At least it's not bleeding everything here. See, if it's white, it's kind of disappears. Do a 50% gray. Does anyone know the code for 50% grade? I don't. So yeah, just eyeball that in the middle. And that's really it. This is good. Except I said that the UVs are of course not optimal, but technically they work. You know. And then we'll save that. Alright, so let's try to just go through the steps.
Errors.
Have some errors?
I'm trying to see. Yes.
What error are you getting?
Error while saving the following texture material.
Wasn't that the issue you had also?
Undefined?
Yes, undefined.
Well, what I did was I re-uploaded my normal and texture at the same time. Did you do that already?
I think so. I can try it again.
Yeah, so some people are getting the error when you save settings. It says texture undefined.
Yeah, it's just undefined.
So it seems like it's not really able to read the normal map.
No, just re-uploading.
Seems to be a problem when if you first upload your model and then upload your normal map.
Right.
The setting view.
Okay, so one potential fix is to make sure to upload the normal map and the mesh at the same time. Yeah. Okay, let's see, I need to... Where do I set it to downloadable? Let's see.
After you save it, or when you go back.
Because to be able to publish it, I need to be able to
Download no free store.
Oh, here, free. Yeah, so this is, of course, a bit unfortunate in this educational setting. If some of you have an issue with this, then you don't have to upload it. Then you would have to just provide me with your model and maybe a link to your model where you put it on the server or something. Yeah, I just need to make that disclaimer. Or if you want to pay for Sketchfab, then they will allow you to have more than one private model. You do have the option to make private models, but there's a limitation on it. So here you see I have to wait until November 12th, and then I can make another private model on my free account.
You have to have it downloadable for handling.
Yeah, in order for us to be able to see it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But with your free account, you do have the option to make one model private. So, you know.
Now I don't care of it being private or not. As long as I
Yeah.
get to hand it in.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's for just a technicality in terms of the, if you take issue, if anyone don't want that, of course, that's fine. Then you could still just do this process. It would still be nice for you to just show it in the report, because this is a very quick and easy way to just show the wireframe, show the all the things that we're going to be doing, and then just don't provide the link. Yeah. All right, so now I can save and publish. Cool. And then this would be the link to share. This is the URL link that we need to include in the report if you want to, I guess. I would still probably want to see this. Like, you still want to see, we want to see that it, it works, the bake work, you're able to, because this is essentially just an in-game version, you could do this in Unity or something else if you preferred. Just, the main point is to show that, I have a base mesh, I have a successful bake that's actually working, and all of that. All right. So that's pretty good. Also considering that the UVs are so random, we're not experiencing much trouble with that, so. Alright, so I'll just go through the steps. We'll just make a report for the cyborg head based on this template.
You put this one on Canvas yesterday, right?
Yeah, this PSD template is on Canvas. Of course, if you want to make this somewhere else, like InDesign or Illustrator or Word, feel free. But try to stay true to this layout. Yeah. So, okay.
Where did you put it?
Let's see.
Oh, yeah, I found it.
It's on their course documents. Yeah. I guess put it in files.
No, we don't see files.
Oh, okay.
Usually
Can I make it visible?
I don't know. We tried it in programming class on Friday. So we ended up putting it in pages because they all have access to them. But it doesn't matter.
But here it is.
Yeah, I found it. But it's anyway.
Yeah, so the first thing is just a model presentation where I encourage you to make some very simple backstory for your asset. Just a paragraph, literally. Doesn't need to be complicated. It's just creates a little bit of interest. You know. It could also kind of help to get your idea across, like which content is this asset or a creature or a character or whatever it is supposed to be. What role or what's its purpose. So that's what I just attempted to do with this sci-fi fuel cell, whatever you can. So that's the first here. All these are in folders. So this is the model presentation, and the green layers are the ones that you need to go in and alter. So here, obviously, you need to change your name, and here you need to make sure that you do remember to include a Sketchfab link after all, so you just don't leave this one. So let me do that first. So I'll go in here, click share. This is the link. And I'll paste in, that's the new link. I might as well right away, like when you open that template, you can go save as, and then you just save a new PSD right away so that you're working in your own PSD file. So I'll call this, yeah, whatever, what should we call it? PSD cyborg report. Save. Okay, so I updated the Sketchfab. Remember to update your name there. And this would then be A1. Why is it, oh. Alright. And then some sort of title. I guess for A1 it's kind of random. This would just be cyborg. So for A1 this is not so crucial. If you wanted to add a little backstory to it, you can. Cyborg.
Something dark side.
Yeah. For A1 this is less of a deal, because they're all kind of similar, I guess. But, alright, so let's do a little print screen. And in this case, if you did add some additional textures, you could include them here in your model presentation. Just the final render. But if you do a clay render, that's all that is required to do. So here, this is the clay render with a normal map, so that's fine. We'll do a print screen. Then Control V. Oh, that's the wrong screen. That's interesting. Alright, I'll just put it over there then. So I'm on the other monitor, the print screen. Does anyone know how to shift that around? If I wanted a print screen of the other monitor?
Well, you can also do Windows Shift S, and you can drag out exactly what you want to snapshot.
Oh, like on a
Just
Mac.
paste
Oh,
it.
you could do it. The Windows button.
Yeah.
And
Windows
Shift S?
Shift and then S.
Oh, cool. All
And
right.
you get like a snapshot which you can drag.
Yeah, let's try that. Windows Shift S. Oh yeah.
And
Okay.
you just then it's it'll go to your clipboard, so you just paste it anywhere. So it's copied now.
So it is copied now.
Yeah.
So I can press Control V.
Yes.
Oh, sweet. Nice. So I guess we'll just make a decision here. Maybe we could change the whole entire background color to this neutral gray. For A1, I guess if you have a clay render, yeah, let's try it. Let's try to we'll just change the background color.
Oh, there's just one big picture. Okay.
Yeah. So now the background color just changes. If you wanted to alter that, just do it at the very bottom. And yeah, see, it will be prettier because yeah, the white background is not actually so good for clay renders. Yeah, so here for the presentation we can make it a bit larger.
You unlock the background.
Yeah, okay, so to unlock the background you can click that little lock right there.
I can't edit the layer because it won't work. Oh. Just
Yeah, it might be a little bit confusing here, but if you uncheck so you cannot see any of the folders, and then just gradually kind of view the first folder, which is the one we're currently working with. Okay, and then probably we want to do not just one viewpoint, just to add like a side view.
did you delete the presentation layer from the first folder? Or did you color that one?
Oh yeah, no, I deleted that. That's just
oh yeah, that's just the big
the yeah. Yeah, right. The images that are in there are just placeholders. Yeah, so just add another angle. So here I'm just dragging out a marquee selection and just click backspace. You can delete things. And a quick way to just deselect that selection is to hit Control D for deselect. And then I can press V. That's just to get this move tool. I can move this layer around. If I want to make it look pretty, see here it's well, it's hard to see, but it's kind of the shadow, the bottom ambient occlusion shadow kind of cuts off. This is not a big deal, but might as well just make it pretty. So I go just to my eraser and make a big draw size, and I turn down the hardness. And I can just erase that bottom. See, I can make a just nicer contact shadow on both of these layers. You know, it just helps the presentation if it looks kind of okay. It all adds to the impression that the sensor will get if you put a little bit of effort into it. Alright, so you get the idea. You can also be creative here if you wanted to for this presentation slide. You know, add your flair. let's say you wanted to take it a bit further. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. So if you get inspiration from some artworks on Sketchfab, you probably would. This presentation slide could be a bit more elaborate. That's maybe more for A2. Oh, I do see my little logo there. Kind of has those white. I'll fix that. All right, so okay, so that's the first one. You have any questions about Photoshop or something not working? Yeah.
I'm not getting the share link. I'm getting the embed and to download. There's no like links.
Have you changed it to free in the download?
Yeah, it's free. It's public. It's public. I'm
Oh.
not getting that button. For me, it's embed and add.
What?
Does anyone else have that issue? You don't see the share?
Very peculiar.
And you set this to free?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know. I don't know.
Have it all.
There seems to be some issues with it, but so it's not perfect. But you have a normal map applied. So let's see. Right. Yeah, no, this doesn't have a... Yeah, it seems to be baked into maybe your normal information in the OBJ. Right, very open in the browser. Yeah, let's take a little break, yeah. And you're not logged in here. So. But it seems like a link for it. Yeah, we'll have to look for it. I'm not sure. So 11 film? Okay. So 11?
And then it says make it so right. And then I make it so, but then it repeats it to no one.
Yes. Where did you attempt to bake? Right. Yeah, well, it was, I mean,
Start doing modeling with these on.
One thing I forgot here, and you probably did too, or if you want to include it or not, but I don't have any eyeballs in there, which you probably don't either. Obviously, it's just like literally importing those objects and exporting with the OBJ. And if I were to make some very quick eyeballs, whoa. Hello. Oh, it made it live. Don't be live. And I'm going to turn off the You can, of course, model accessories and things if you want to model in Maya and add on to the complexity. You don't have to make everything in ZBrush. You can, I always say you can do whatever you want. So if you want to use Blender or whatever. Let me add some interest, so I'll just and if you need to, maybe you need to repeat some of the A1 videos, like we talked a lot about UV mapping, how you can have more objects be a part of the same UV map and all of that. So it's all kind of the same, just generally when it comes to asset creation, of course. So if I just want some very quick and dirty eyes in there, let me delete history. I'll freeze transformations. I wouldn't necessarily need to make UVs for them, but I'll just make some very quick automatic UVs. And then if I wanted them to be a part of the same map here, I would just do that. So it doesn't. You can leave them as separate objects, like separate meshes. And again, this is just going back to what we talked a lot about also in CGArt1. If you do need and feel that you need to just have a quick reminder of all of this, like, okay, so UVs and adding objects, I would really recommend just doing a repeat of some of the videos that are still online from that course, because it's all kind of the same. In the end, it comes down to making a nice final asset. But here I have the UVs for these two eyeballs, kind of a part of the same layout, right? And these two eyes could share the same UV space. I think we also talked about that in CGR1. It's like we do not want to have overlapping UVs per object, especially when you're baking, because then the bake might fail. But you can have several objects sharing the same UV space. That's okay. It's just, in other words, you can have as many copies of this object as you want in the asset with the exact same UVs and sharing the exact same texture, of course. So, but there's always like a little bit of confusion there. Anyway, so that's just, then I would go again and just do a soften edge on everything. And of course, just have everything selected when I click export selection. And I export that entire selection with all of those meshes as one OBJ. And then let's go to Sketchfab. So here I call it head low 2, and this is the normal map, the PNG. And did I remember this time to put the soften edge in the history state on export? Yes. Okay. So if I do add the additional objects, you have to remember to include that in a report. So when it says like number of objects or number of meshes, in this case I would have 3 meshes. I have 1 UV map. Right. So when that finishes, I will just continue. So all these images, of course, are just placeholders. I should probably have made those green as well then. Can I do that here? Green. And these are screen grabs from Sketchfab. If you do find that you have the time to experiment a bit with Substance Painter, do include it in the report. It's optional. And like I mentioned yesterday, there were some questions if it will have some benefit to your grading in terms of the assessment. And yeah, it will a little bit. But in terms of the weighting, it will not influence the grade too much. Just a bit, a little bit. This is the main thing for the assessment. And yes, I will make the assessment rubric available shortly. But this is the main thing that we want to see. So you have nice textile density, even textile density. You have a nice clean topology. You did a successful bake. Here we see that it's all working. We see the normal map is applied on this low res version. And then you want to show the clay render with only the normal map. So that's the main thing. That's the main kind of weighting for the assessment. And then there are things like, it would be kind of similar, like if you, I don't know if you remember kind of the weighting criteria. If you get, yeah, let's not get too carried away with that. I will post it, but it's kind of course, that kind of the complexity of your model, all of this will influence the grade. Like if you're being very creative and you have a lot of, you have more complexity, kind of you're a bit more ambitious. That all of that will factor in. Okay, there we go. So that's looking alright. And then 3D settings. Yeah, so I probably just want to include the eyeballs there, why not? So there they are, and then I should be able to go to materials, normal, manage textures, and turn off the flip green. I'll just make it kind of gray. And I did change this to just a harsh lighting. Turn on ground shadows, baked ambient occlusion. Make that a little more subtle. And oh yeah, here. Then just did a neutral gray. Kind of. Alright. Okay, so yeah, so I would redo that presentation, but that's fine. And then model breakdown. Like I said, these are all just screen grabs from here. So UV pattern, where's that again? I upset it. I'm sorry, Sketchfab. Yeah, oh, number 4. UV checker. So here I can immediately see that my UVs are far from optimal, just because, remember, we opted for a quick and easy automatic mapping yesterday after all. So this is something I would address. So the UVs here are not optimal, but I can see that I have minimal texture distortion, and so the UVs are functional. So I include this. What was the hotkey again for the little snippet? Control, Window, Shift. What was it? S?
Yes.
Window, Shift, S. Alright, that's all I need there. Go in here, paste. That's it for the UV pattern. Then go back to my final render and press 5 to get the wireframe. So Window key Shift S, or you could do just a print screen. But this is handy. Paste that in there, Control V. That's it for the topology. And then just turn off wireframe again. This would just be the clay render with the normal map. Control V. So I make a new layer, Control V. And then yeah, so I don't have any textures for this, but that's fine. That's it. Then I can press Control E if I want to merge these layers. And this one I can just delete. So I have a UV pattern. Whoops. What? Okay, so on this guy, isn't it that one? That annoying feature. Yeah, so on the move tool, there's this little feature here. This will automatically select the pixels. which in this case will be kind of useless because it will just automatically select the background. So I turn that off in the Move tool, and now it will select the layer. So I'm on the UV pattern layer for the text. There it is, and I have my topology, clay render, and the texture there I can just delete. There we go. And as far as the try count and so forth, go to my text tool, press T, and I can just look here for the model information. Where is it again? Here, triangles 27K. Okay, so that's including those eyes that I just made. That's fine. Total try count 27K. Sounds a bit high, but that's what it says. So a number of meshes, in this case it would be, so don't worry too much about the try count. This is totally fine. It shows that you did a nice little low poly or medium poly mesh and you did the bake, kind of. So number of meshes in this case would be 3. So I have the eyes in there. Number of UV maps 1. And that's it. I can save this. Why does it keep wanting to save a PDF? Save as Photoshop. When you do save the PSD, just make sure that you include the layers. So you save the PSD you're working in. Do not just click as a copy, but include layers. It will save everything.
You just take the try count from Sketchpad.
Yeah. That's the total try count of all the objects. There's some more like information here. Let's see. Somewhere.
But if I did a separate UV map of the eyes and stuff, should I just write
Yeah, then in
two
your
UV maps then?
yeah, if they're not a part of the same UV map.
Yeah, they're two separate.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
And
Do you have any textures for them or anything? Will you texture the eyes? Right. So in that case, it could be a little confusing. You do technically have 2 UVs, but you're not going to use those UVs, right? So I would just say 1. Even though technically you do have 2, but if you write that you have 2 UV maps, you probably want to show that in your normal map or your textures or anything.
Okay, if I just
Yeah, I would just put 1. Because if you have an additional one that you're just disregarding the UVs, right? You're not really, yeah. You might as well, yeah. I guess technically you would have 2. Interesting dilemma.
the number of meshes is like the head is one mesh and the eyes are one separate mesh, or is that
But yeah, so each eye would be 1 mesh, so total 3 meshes.
okay?
So an asset can have any multiple of objects, and it can have any multiple amount of UV maps. I would keep it simple. For this assignment, I would keep everything kind of in one UV layout, especially if you do like a 4K bake, that would be enough. And we have a nice little optimized mesh in here, or I'm sorry, asset that could be multiple meshes. Yep. Oh yeah, here. So more model information. There's some more here. Yeah. Anyways, so quads, total triangles, 27K. Alright. Again, if I want to make a little bit of effort here, I could try to... I can go to my levels, Control L, and just tweak a little bit that gray tone, you know. Not necessary, but why not? There we go. Tweak the gamma. There you go. Can also erase the edges if I want. So I have the eraser tool, just a large size, and put the hardness down. And I can just erase those edges off. And also lower the opacity on the eraser. Make it beautiful. Just a little bit of extra touch on this, just to make the presentation look nice. There we go. It takes 2 seconds, but this is kind of the final thing after all this work that whoever's assessing you will be looking at, so it's just worth it. So I'm the internal sensor, and then there's one external. And if you can test the grade, then I think then there's 2 external. So, you know, you just want to make sure this is very readable and nice. Okay, cool. So there, model breakdown, we have it. Save it. And again, carry on with the textures. So for the UV distortion, I'll go in Maya. I'll go to my UV editor. So UV editor. And here you want to go to View and turn on UV distortion. This is a UV distortion map, which will be very revealing if you have texture distortion. So if I drag these UVs out like this, we should see. Oh, I have that soft selection. Hang on. So if I do this, we should see some horrible colors. So here, colors are bad. Colors mean here you have texture distortion or UV distortion, and that will show up on this UV distortion map, which we just create manually here by going to View, UV distortion, and then we take a screen grab of this. So Windows key, Shift S, and then we'll do a snippet of the 0 to 1 region.
You just turn on UV distortion.
Okay, maybe I would have it on shaded also. That doesn't matter. Yeah, just put it on UV distortion. And select the object and UV distortion. And then you should probably see that it's just white. That's kind of what you want to see.
Yep.
That means you have no distortion, practically. And then paste it in here. Control V. There's our UV distortion map. So in this case, I don't have any additional textures. I just have the UV distortion and the normal map, which is the requirement. So all those extra image files are optional, of course. So here, just take that text layer. This is my UV distortion. And just hide this template. I'll delete that. And then I do a screen grab of the normal map. I guess I could just open the normal map in here. This is the final normal map. Control A to select everything. Control C to copy. And then Control V to paste. And that's showing up very large in here, so I can hold Control T. And then if I hold Shift, I can scale and keep the uniform image ratio there. Okay. and just make it roughly the same size. There you go. That's it. And this just serves to show that, okay, it looks like a logical, kind of what you expect to see in a tangent space normal map. Then I put that there. Okay, that's it. All these I can get rid of. Save. And then this is pretty important. So this would be the evolution of my work. And I will fire up ZBrush. And I'll open all my iterations. So this was just starting with the demo head. So maybe I just want to show the demo head first of all. This was the first step. Here I could turn off, let's see. Where did they put the grid in this new interface?
How do you change the background to like plain white?
Here. So document, there's a background button, and this will change to the color you have selected in the color palette. So that's a good question. So I'm going to do that too. So I'm going to set it to like neutral gray, and I click the background color, and then I could change the material. Let's see. Now I'll do a basic material. But now I also change the color to white again, just so it's more visible. Or I could do like a matte cap, whatever you want to do. Just make sure that it's clear. Yeah.
My background is still like a gradient, not like
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
solid color.
Yeah, so you go to document and then you turn down the range to 0.
That didn't do anything.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, have a look.
How did you unselect something in this again?
Deselect.
I have like this red line and I have to delete it. I don't know how to do it.
Oh, backspace. Just backspace everything or shadow.
Oh,
Just backspace.
that makes no sense.
That is true. But that's the way you do it.
That's how Mafia works.
And they added. Then they cut it behind now.
Let's just shoot it.
Weird, weird, weird.
Alright, so carry on just doing screen grabs of all the iterations, make a nice little evolution timeline that would just showcase your work. There's a question.
Documenting the whole scope to just look completely blank.
Oh yeah, that's just because this color palette will just show your lost. Well, you could fill the entire object with a certain color, but yeah.
I don't know where they put the little icon to get rid of the grid. Because this UI changed. Anyways, I will not care. Used to be right here. Maybe if I toggle the interface. Yeah, okay. Turn off the floor grid. Oh, I don't like that gradient. Alright, so Windows Shift S. We're getting there. Control V. And of course, all these textures, all these text boxes that I added for the evolution for the little sci-fi container that I did, obviously none of these will be relevant. It's just to show you that, yeah, you need to add just a little comment for each step, just very short and descriptive. And if you have nothing to say, that's fine. Yeah, the images will kind of tell the story, but if you did something that you'd like to highlight, for instance, okay, here I used alpha library, yeah, that's relevant. Or kind of what stage is this? So here I could say establishing primary shapes, for instance, kind of getting, you know. Alright, so let me open the next iteration. Unfortunately, yeah, so I do have to go in here and change this each time now. That's okay. And for A2, if you do have a very kind of elaborate model and you want to expand on this evolution, and if you have more to show, then of course you can add an additional page, use your own judgment. But I would keep it kind of simple. So I'm running out of space, but I think I'm gonna condense these to be pretty close, and I could use the eraser. Just erase parts of that layer. And I'll erase parts of this layer. So I can put these pretty close. Then if I want to do a little tweaking, like a little level, so just to get that gray tone kind of matching, I can do Control L. And again, just do a little bit of gamma correction. Well, maybe I just want to show off the original kind of demo head that was my starting point. I'll just put that like tiny there. That's cool. So, started. Actually, yeah, for these text boxes, it might be easier just to click T and then just make a little text box, because the text will stay within this boundary. And I could start typing, started with demo head in ZBrush. What is it called? It's called demo head female. So I could call it demo head female. Yeah. establish primary forms. Yeah, that could be it. I don't have more to say there. And then introduced panel detailing, and then I remember I actually used kind of the lazy mouse on Damien Standard. Yeah, if someone's interested. I don't even see what I did there. Well, I keep refining the forms. Further refining overall shape or form. And here I can see that I have added some tertiary detail. So like little surface. I remember I used spray stroke with attached alpha. Blah blah blah. And then final sculpt. That's it. Doesn't need to be too complicated. Maybe tidy up this a bit. Yeah, there's my evolution. So it serves to show, of course, my progress. It also serves to document that this is my work. I'm showing the different steps. And that's it. Those are the 4 pages. I will make a PDF. You have a question?
Will you upload this for multiple cameras?
Yeah, sure, I can upload this. Yeah. I'll upload this as the template as well.
Yeah, so if you have them both, it will be really nice so I can see what they need for both.
Yeah. No problem. Alright, so let's let me fix that little logo. Where's that? Oh, where is that? It's actually just a part of the background. Okay. Whoops. Where's the magic wand when you need it? Just Alright, so let's make a PDF. remember to upload the Sketchfab link to this document, so that make sure it's your link. And yeah, I would flesh out just, I guess for A1, unless you were really creative, you don't really have to worry too much about this, but you could add a little paragraph or something. It's more for A2, like what went into your thought process, just a little bit. Okay, so here we could just save as, and I'm gonna do a PDF. So this could just be page 1. Let's just,
So gonna be like how it's called, the same as the A1, like presentation wise.
what do you mean for
For the A2 assignment.
yeah, exactly the same.
Exactly. Just also include the process, like the ladder that you mentioned. How I got there, pretty much.
No, it's just like this. Yeah, you just show the evolution. But I'm saying for A2, if you feel that you need a little more, you need to elaborate a bit, you feel free to do that. You can use your creativity here. I mean, if you need more pages also, yeah, you feel free. But try not too much, probably. We just want to see sort of your evolution, kind of. Yeah. All right. Yeah. See ya. Okay, so we exported the page 1. I'll have a look at it. All right, there it is. We'll do page 2. Page 4. Okay, so to merge these guys, we could have used, well, different things, also Acrobat, but I think there's a little license thing here. So, but there's a very nice free online thing called DocuPub. And here we can merge PDFs very easily. Actually, though, so this is where we had some issues this morning. I was trying to figure out how to add that active link, and we cannot open Acrobat here. So, but we can open Illustrator. So let's try to make that an active link. This guy. This is a little bit of experimentation on my part. Let's see. So we'll copy, make sure we have the link. And then in Illustrator, it should be, as far as I could tell, just to paste the link right in here. I guess you could also just do this link bit in Illustrator. So this, I'm sorry, this is a bit tedious having to go in here, but let's see if we can figure this out. So here, I guess we just place it there, and we can make this text just invisible. so that it will just be here as kind of a clickable little item. Let me just try this. Let me save as... I'll just do a little test. So page 1 link or whatever. So when we open this PDF with Chrome, now, so now this is a clickable link. This is an active URL link within the PDF. So if I open it in Chrome, it will take me directly to the model. So if you could be so kind to actually do that little step so that we do get your active URL link in the PDF itself, whether you take the time to do it on each page or at least at the first page, then we will have a clickable link in your PDF. So what I have to do now is just, I'll just open these in Illustrator. If you have another preferred way of making an active hyperlink in your PDF, you can do that. But this works. There, we're making the second page. Thankfully, there's not many pages, so 2 more. I mean, you could just add it on the first page, but who knows? Maybe the censor will get confused, and to be safe, I will add it on each page. Page 3, link. One more. Sometimes I'm able to actually get that link active just in Photoshop, and sometimes I'm not. So seems like here it's a more reliable. Just kind of works. Alright, then I'll just double check, and to do that, like I said, you can just right click, open with Chrome. That will just open that PDF in Chrome, and this link should now be clickable. There we go. And DocuPub that we're going to use to merge these should also keep those active hyperlinks in the final merged PDF. So this is turning out to be a little bit tedious, but doable. Alright, so here I have the final 4 pages. This is the culmination of all my work. Yay! Now just one more step. Have to merge them. Do it wherever you want. Just make sure that if you made hyperlinks that you use some sort of merge system that will keep the active hyperlinks. And I'm pretty sure DocuPub will do it. If not, we will be upset and then we'll go home. Let's see. So here, yeah. So docupub.com, I can go to merge PDF. And here, I'll just choose the files, So page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, merge files. I don't know, optimize output PDF for fast web view. Not sure. I'll try it without it. Okay, merged, and I'll download this guy. Just do a check here first to see if it's actually kept those links. Yay! So I can click it. It takes me to my Sketchpad. Everything is good. And it's on all the pages. At least that seems to be the case. And then right click, save link as. See. And we might as well just name it. Then we gotta go to Canvas and just double check. Anyways, I'll just download it first. Okay, merged, whatever. Here's the final PDF, and I'll open that with Chrome. Yay, so it kept the links. Everything is good. Then, alright, final thing, very important, name it correctly. Just read the assignment criteria under assignments. So, if it's for, well, this is actually A1. This is how it should be named. And then upload that before 2 p.m. on December 6th. Alright, so there we go. So that's the final delivery. That's it. Everything is good. Let's see. Do you have read and write privileges on this folder on the server called exam? Probably only write. I don't know.
Exam.
Can you add something there? Try to add a folder, or not everyone, just some of you.
Yeah, I can add a folder.
Can you delete it again?
No, I can't. I can't create it. Sorry.
Cannot you create it either?
Well,
Okay.
I created a new folder, but I can't rename it.
Yeah. So okay, cool. Well, not cool.
I can't. Well, yeah.
Okay.
No, and I can't delete it again. So now there's just a new folder in there.
Thank you. Question.
For the UV and normal map part of the thing, do we only need the UV distortion and normal map?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all you need. Because here we see your UV layout and we see your normal map. So if you have more than one layout, just also put them in there. If you have textures applied or normal map applied. So for your A2, you know, this might turn out to be a little more complex in terms of your documentation of everything, and that's fine. So if you need a couple of pages to explain your UVs and your thing, then fine. Right? So just depends if you have a lot of objects and you might have a couple of UV maps. I would just urge you to keep it simple. Like we've seen some examples already on Sketchfab, it doesn't need to be hugely technically complicated. You can still create something very nice. It's a nice little asset. And that's kind of the point. And like I said, I would go back to some of the CG Art 1 videos if you need to like refresh your memory on like, okay, so how was this if I want kind of more objects on the same asset, and because this is all the same thing, it's just that now we're adding a little bit more complexity for the detailing. But in the end, technically, it's not that different. It's just a long winding road to get there. So, cool. That's it. Questions? It is doable. Please take that extra step in Illustrator, even if you have to log on to these computers and just make that active link. It's a little bit of a hassle, but it is doable. I will probably also update the assignment text, because it would be nice you include that link also in the Canvas delivery or Inspira, or I think, yeah, you still will have to do an Inspira delivery as well. That is also practiced here. Probably we could have used Canvas for everything.
No, that would be too simple.
That would be too simple. Yeah, because Canvas can be used for everything.
Yeah.
Alright, anyways, but maybe then we will just right here and now make a decision that we can also provide a link here on the server. I will not put it in the exam then. I guess archive. Oh, there's a lot of stuff in there. Let's just do it on the work folder. You guys are SPO. Well, this is actually two classes.
1821.
Yeah, sorry. Let's do it on archive anyways. Let's see. Can you try the same little trick? Just
Yeah.
make a folder in there.
In archive?
In archive, yeah.
Window. Okay. It's redoing the connection here. Windows cannot access anti-logger archive.
I think you probably have read and write access to the archive folder.
It's telling me I don't have access, but it's retrying now.
Oh, so then I'm mistaken.
You don't have access.
You don't have access.
Permission to, yeah.
Then we'll put it in. I'll just make. Well, probably people will delete it. This makes no sense. Actually, what I'll do, I'll make one for each of your class groups. So this would be SPO, this,
Yeah, 1821.
and also VFX2020. So I'll put in here, inside of your class folder, I will make one called underscore VFX2020. That should be now on top. There, you may also provide okay, this is what you're going to do. You'll make a folder with your name.
Just make a readme file in there with instructions.
Then put the OBJ, put everything in here. Yes. If you have anything, if you have a beef with putting it on Sketchfab for the world to see. If you don't have a beef with that, you don't have to worry about this. If someone has a beef with that, which is a technical disclaimer I have to make, then of course you just put it in here, in this folder path, which I just described, and I will put a link to it. And that will be fine. And you will just provide that link to me in your delivery, and I will kind of have to provide that to the sensor. Yep. That's a workaround. That'll work.
unrelated question related to headers.
Yes. Okay. Just so we're all done with that. Kind of works. Good. Yes.